The ANC in the Northwest has announced struggle veteran Bushi Mabe as the new premier-elect. This announcement comes before the formal resignation of the incumbent Job Mokgoro, who is yet to step down. Earlier this week, ANC Interim Provincial Committee Chairperson Hlomane Chauke said that the province hoped to swear in Bushi Mabe, who worked as advisor to Professor Mokgoro, by the end of the week. Current Northwest Premier Job Mokgoro joins us this evening to talk to us about this particular issue. Mokgoro, good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time tonight. I'll begin with a question that is top of mind for everyone. Are you still the Premier of the Northwest?
Good evening, Bongi, and the viewers. Yes, for now I am the Premier of the Northwest.
And are you refusing to resign? If so, why?
Certainly not a disciplined member of the ANC like myself. Just to remind all of us, I was deployed here by the ANC, and the ANC will allow my deployment when it deems fit, and it would discontinue the deployment when it deems fit. And that is what is the understanding across the board. And it is my understanding as well.
So because you say that you are still the Premier, are you refusing to resign? Because they were saying that they're expecting you to, and you have agreed to this.
Yes, I have agreed. I met with one of the leaders of the ANC of the top six. I think Wednesday it was. And I did articulate my agreement. And I'm now busy preparing handover. And would also be meeting with the president next week, and that'll be it.
So you are going to be resigning?
Oh yes. As I say, I'm here because I was placed here by the ANC, and the ANC will discontinue that when it deems fit.
And one of the things that the IPC has said, in the public domain is that they are replacing you because there was no service delivery, a lack thereof, and your poor performance. Would you say that you failed as Premier?
Well, nothing is further from the truth. I would remind those who make those uninformed statements, to read our report on our performance with regard to SOPA 2020. Our performance actually is as good as it is, notwithstanding the outbreak of COVID-19. Just to give us an example, in 2020, we created about 27,000 jobs, 10 water projects completed, over 1,800 houses built. We have the report, and those who have not read it, and I would have thought that we sent it to members of the IPC, but many members of the IPC were themselves part of producing this wonderful work. So I am actually surprised that people are saying this. Maybe there is a need to fabricate on the part of those who make those uninformed statements.
I wonder then, at the back of what you've just said, do you feel that you're being pushed out of your current position, or are you also seeing that it's time for you to, let your successor take over?
I will not go into any details or speculations. The reality is the LC has said we are now reversing the deployment, and it is actually inappropriate for me to say I have agreed. There is no basis to agree or not to agree, because we get into this with the full understanding that is the rules of the game.
I can't help but I have to ask you this question, because it does look like it's playing out in the public domain here. What is your relationship like with the coordinator of the IPC, Mr. Hlomane Chauke, and the IPC as a whole?
Comrade Chauke is, as I say, my comrade. It is unfortunate that he has been going about this matter since January the way he has. And I would hope that he will do the necessary introspection and perhaps within the context of my organization, our organization, we would be able to see that there is something that is very fundamental to human nature. It's called the natural justice, the laws of natural justice. When you make allegations, you say to the person against whom you're alleging, to say, comrade, I think you're doing the following. And you will get the response. And after doing that, then you'll be able to make whatever conclusions. And sadly, I've not had the benefit thereof, but he is my comrade.
Is it my understanding that you complained about him to Luthuli House in 2020? What were those complaints about?
Yes, I did write to Luthuli about the way Comrade Chauke was relating to me. Excessive micromanagement, which is really just out of this world, and thinking that he can give orders to me as he pleases. I reported all those.
And let's talk about these allegations that are also in the public domain when it comes to you. They're saying that, some of your detractors are saying there was misuse of intelligence to keep tabs on the opposition in and out of the political party. Is this true?
Can you just say that again?
There were some who were leveling allegations against you, who were saying that you are using, in fact misusing the intelligence to keep tabs on the opposition in and out of the party. Is this true?
No, it is not true, and that is it. And I have repeatedly begged those who made the allegations to make submissions to the intelligence inspector or any other relevant authority, because this thing has been going on over a protracted period of time, and I still plead and beg that those allegations be tested with the relevant authorities.
Where do you think these allegations could stem from?
Well, Bongi, you are in the Northwest Province. So many things are possible in the Northwest. It's just sad that there are these things that are mentioned that may happen in our province, many of which are really informed by factionalism and unnecessary internal battles. And I wish one day we could put this aside and prioritize the people of the Northwest.
So it sounds to me like what they said, because they were saying that you are someone that is being brought in to stabilize the province, and thus suggesting that the unity of the province post your predecessor was in your hands. I hear what you're saying from the fights and the challenges that you're talking about. It sounds like that project, the unity project, may have failed. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sadly, with the recent developments, I'm afraid the stability we've been enjoying over the past 3 years or so, seems to be slipping through our hands.
But
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because it was very clear from Nasra conference that renewal included very strongly the question and the message of unity.
There's two schools of thought here, and I'd like you to tell me which one you're leaning towards. There's others who are suggesting you are close to the former Premier, Supra Mahumapelo. There are others who are saying that he may have played a role in destabilizing your tenure as Premier, and thus you are not seeing eye to eye. Which is it?
Perhaps, Bongi, making such observations is rather simplistic and overlooking, if not undermining, the complexity of the situation. I mean, one of the things that are overriding is the question of access to positions so that you access resources. That's just one of them. And in the corridors, I'm accused of shutting too many doors.
Yes, and they say that you've shut too many doors, and one of the doors they say that you've shut is a door to the mother body. They say that you've made appointments without consulting with the mother body, and you were simply not taking instruction. What do you say then to these allegations?
Another untruth. I have been involved in selection or appointments of members of the Executive Council 3 occasions. The first one was in 2018, which I did under the supervision of the national leadership. The second one, which was even more extensive with regard to the consultation I went into, was the expo we have today post the 2019 elections. The last one was replacement after the sad passing of the former MEC for Coxter. May his soul rest in peace. And there were disagreements, and I think the leadership that spoke to me, the coordinator, the convener, were adamant that the person they wanted appointed should be the one who should emerge. And I had other views. And I think apart from the interaction that I had with the two and other leaders at National, by the way, seeking their advice, so it is absolutely not true that I have not sought the advice of ANC leadership. And it is sad that people should make such allegations where there is no truth to such. But I think more positively moving forward, now that as I move away from the scene, I think it is something that has to be looked at by the leadership, just precisely what the nature of this interaction and engagement should be, and ultimately how such matters get concluded. But the essence of my response is it is not true.
You are hoping to speak to the president next week, as you say. Take us into your confidence about what you are going to be saying to him. Are you going to be painting a picture of this injustice that you say, in fact, I'm hearing you say, is being done to you? And what advice are you seeking from him?
Well, firstly, I think I'm going to thank the President for the opportunity. It has been quite an enormous opportunity. Very, very challenging, extremely challenging. I've been working from Sunday to Sunday and irresponsibly denying myself the basic number of hours of sleep. I'm going to make that very clear to the President. But I've also had a rare opportunity where I've been able to descend into the intricacies and the nitty-gritties of the complexity called provincial government, particularly in the Northwest Province. And I'm going to share in great depth and breadth with the President these challenges. My approach to life, especially in a huge complex entity such as the public sector, such as government, is to take a problem-oriented approach so that whatever interventions I come with, these must be as sufficiently and fundamentally informed as would be required. I'm not the kind of guy who grabs at a solution before I understand what the issues are. Mm. And by way of illustrations, I will share with the President there, including the sadly misconstrued performance of municipalities, where people, I don't know what informs that, continue to say, oh, the challenges of municipalities in this province are because of Mokgoro. The reality is that there is a crisis in municipalities of our country. And the sooner we move away from Mokgoro as the so-called cause, and we understand and grapple with the challenges and complexity in our wonderful country, the better it would be. And it's about time that we demonstrate and show leadership.
Talking about municipalities, did you feel stifled, as others have suggested, that your province was placed under administration with intervention from national, and thus leaving you hamstrung when it comes to doing your job? Do you feel like you were restricted somewhat?
Well, let's just look at basic common sense logic. When my predecessor was removed in 2018 and I was appointed, the fact of the matter is that much as I respect Cabinet's decision to put the province under administration, just from an implementation point of view, the person who was supposed to unlock whatever problems there were had his feet and hands tied by Section 100. It is just a reality we cannot run away from.
And let's then look at, one of the things that, going forward as to how do you foresee unity in that particular province, because factional battles are laid bare there. What do you think is needed at this stage to unite the province?
Well, let me quote one leader who said, if I'm looking to appoint somebody, I look for three things. One, I look for intelligence. Two, I look for energy. Three, I look for integrity. If I have the first two, I don't have the last one, I don't proceed with that person. So it's about time that people who get elected, people who get appointed, are men and women of integrity, who have poverty very deep in their hearts. It is one fundamental thing that we are lacking. I mean, right now, we as a country are probably clinging to a resource that comes from the windfall brought about by the mines. We got so depleted in terms of our fiscus that we find ourselves in the situation that we are. And I think in many ways, it is the way, and it happens in the province, it is the way we divert scarce resources of society into selfish interests, into interests that are informed by our fundamental greed.
Do you think
and those are the fundamentals, those are the issues that we have to take forward.
Do you think your successor has these three qualities you're talking about?
Pardon me?
Do you think your successor, Bushy Mape, has the qualities you're talking about?
No. I'm not in a position to pass judgment. I would advise all my comrades to look themselves in the mirrors. That's the best advice I can give.
What do you think of him, though, as someone who's worked closely with you?
I've always respected him. I respected the time he spent at Robben Island. And because of my respect, I appointed him to be one of my advisors.
And let's look at the challenges then in holding the upcoming provincial conference. What do you foresee some of these as being?
Well, I would hope that we prepare and we approach conference having as the top of our priority list to emerge with a leadership that will be committed to the principles and values adopted at NASREC, and we move forward with those principles and commitments to make sure that the poverty that is worsening day by day is something that we're going to frontally attack. So we need such leaders to emerge out of the conference.
Some have said that should you resign, they will shut down the province and there will be acts of violence that will will be a replication of what we saw in 2018 when your predecessor was called upon to step down. What do you say then to those who we saw, burning tires, saying that you are not going anywhere?
My plea, my passionate plea, is for us to use our constitution, an enormously wonderful constitution, to express ourselves. We have destroyed enough property. We have created enough instability. Let us go to our constitution, and whatever expression, whatever right we want to assert, let us do that within the framework of the constitution.
We may be on the cusp of the local government elections if the bid by the IEC fails to postpone the local government elections. What do you then, say to your fellow comrades within the ANC? Because I'm sure they are hoping to bag the province again and be at the helm.
Well, if I got your question clearly, Bongi, I think what is very important is that since we had our first elections in 2000, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we've had a lot to learn with regard to the leadership or leaders that have emerged from local government elections. We do recognize and see the state in which, the parlor state in which our municipalities are. We have the double blow that is provided to us by COVID-19 that we also have in municipalities in the way they are performing with regard to livelihoods and lives. Our delivery to our people simply is at odds with providing the very, very basics to the people that we serve. Secondly, in terms of livelihoods, we have across the length and breadth of our country, not only the Northwest, we have damaged businesses in our towns by not providing services to them. The roads, electricity, and water. And we continue to devastate our country. We continue to be senseless about the lives of the people we serve.
All right, I do understand
Let us look.
Yeah, pardon me, you can continue.
Let us look at the damage we have caused to the lives and the livelihoods by making sure that those leaders who come there, who come out of the elections, are the ones who really take this country forward. Because I think a lot depends on what happens at local level.
As a final question from us tonight, when do you think you will hand in your resignation?
I'll be meeting the president next week, and I hope it will be earlier in the week so that we conclude this matter.
Prof. Mokgoro.
But I've already expressed my willingness and happiness to do that.
Okay. Prof. Mokgoro, thank you so much for your time. And I know that I've kept you longer than I had promised to keep you, because you did say that you've got other engagements. Thank you so much, though. I do appreciate the indulgence. Thank you for your time.